couple fights on the team. Calling that boxing since Kane versus Abel. Smoking so much gas, you would think that shit was fatal. I don't know if he was champion like Muhammad Ali. Shut up, Bruce Gas. One day we gon' meet. Yeah, we gon' blow it down. We gon' smoke hella weed. Yeah, we gon' blow it down. Take a hit out the Toka 2. Slipping hella shots. Feel like Tyson with the peak with little Glock on my side. But it hit just like Isaac Cruz. Shut up, man. Chatting real shit. That's my fucking dude. We always cooking on the pan. Strapped to my side, I ain't talking about no sand. Bruce passed me the blunt, I'ma light it like a candle. Hey, non-stop bars, man, I always spit flames. Like Bruce Gas, always got a different strain. Bitch, you ain't like me, you can never feel my pain. You win and you lose, well, this a fight game. Don't beef on the net and the shit won't change. Said that on the stream, you gotta do it for the game. Said that on the stream, you gotta do it for the chat. I ain't undisputed. Yeah, hold on, I ain't undisputed, but I want all the straps.
Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're at. This is Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and More, the Terrible Gas Show. I got my brother Terrible Tim Witherspoon, my co-host. We have a special guest today, man. We have a real special guest. She's an all-star boxing photographer. She's the queen of boxing, the first lady, and I'm really honored to have her on here. In fact, let me take her off mute before I get in real trouble here. But anyway, man, this is Miss Linda Platt. I just met her the other day, and I think I'm already in love with her. So, Linda, welcome.
I've been knowing her a long time. I've been knowing her a long time.
Yeah, it has been. Thank you. It's so great to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Bruce. And it's great to see Timmy again.
Yeah, it's great to see you. We used to see you all the time in Vegas and other places like in the boxing. And she's a really great person. I'm really happy to be on the show with you.
Yeah. I'm happy to be on with you too. I have one question, Tim, before we get started. Who gave you your nickname, Terrible Tim?
You know, I was sparring with Muhammad Ali. I was up there sparring with him. I was doing a really good job. And he started calling me Terrible. But a friend of mine gave me the name. His name was Talik Burgess, Eddie Burgess. So I was going to the gym in Philly, and Terrible meant real good. So if a guy hit a like a 3-pointer from out there or hit a home run, they said that man is terrible back then. So I was in the ring boxing, and I was doing good. He said, "Damn, Tim." He said, "You terrible, Tim." And he kept calling me that, and I was like. Then I finally said, okay, I said, I might as well keep that name. So real quick, I was with Ali in camp, and he was calling me Terrible. Everybody thought that Ali gave me the name. And I said, Ali, a friend of mine that I grew up with, gave me that name. But everybody keeps saying you gave me the name. And he said, no, Tim. He said, tell them the truth. He said, I just like the way you box and everything. And I'm calling you Terrible because that's, So that's,
I love that.
Yeah, he didn't give me the name. He was a friend of mine.
Cool, man. Hey, let me shout out who's came in here to see us so far. We got over 10 people in here, but the people that are chatting, my brother over on Facebook, Paul Driscoll. Shout out to you, Paul. Appreciate you coming in here, man. I got Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. You're always in here, always showing support. El Harvey, my brother, salute. Wingstar, salute my sister. Good to see you in here. Technique, thank you for coming by, man. Linda Platt, man. I'm almost speechless. I have no questions prepared, but I know we're gonna talk about. See, right now, the three of us, we kind of have over 200 years combined boxing experience amongst us, and man, we are children of the 80s. We grew up that, and we love that. We're like vampires. We start talking about the 80s, and we just suck the information out of each other. And Linda was right there. Linda was with all the best, man, from Muhammad Ali. Aaron Pryor, Sugar Ray Leonard. Let me pull up some pictures, Linda. You can
everybody.
You got some posts?
Yeah, I got. Well, first of all, this one right here.
Oh yeah. Oh, the greatest of all time.
Well, what happened is with that picture, I was at an awards dinner with Ali in at Guantes. It was in Victor's Cafe. I think he was sitting by himself, and my 20th year reunion was coming up from high school, so it was in 1985. And I went over to Muhammad Ali and I said, "May I please have a picture?" Because it was just like you guys, he's always clowning with me. So he said, "Yeah, sit down." And I sat down. And then he said, "You got to tell everybody I'm your boyfriend." Needless to say, boy, did I get a reaction from that photo.
That's
Yeah,
Ali all
I
the
was
way.
young then. Yeah, it's like 35. We just had a great time.
That's
And,
Muhammad
and,
all the
and
way.
look at how young Ali is too, man.
Yeah, yeah, very young.
But the way she's describing him, that's him.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
him.
Well, see, he and Angelo invited me to his house in LA. And I showed up, there was a party, and he comes to the door and he says, "Oh, I live next door to Joe Louis." And I said, "Oh, you do? This is so exciting. I can put it in my weekly column." And years later, I forgot to put it in. And years later, I ran into Gene Kilroy in
Gene
2019.
Kilroy.
And Gene said he never lived next door to Joe Louis. He was fooling around again, Linda. Thank goodness I didn't put it in the newspaper column. Yeah, he was a
Gene
real
know
character.
everything. Gene know
Pardon?
everything.
That's
Right,
that's
Linda? Linda, don't Gene know everything, don't he?
Yeah.
yeah. I saw you on the wrestling show the other night, and I was just intrigued. You started talking about some of the mysterious, the premature deaths that we've had in boxing. You were talking about Mike Weaver's friend Tony and
Tony
Richard
Trudnich.
and
Tony
Richard Green.
Trudnich.
Can you elaborate on that? Because I mean, I'm
Yeah,
going to go over what I said, but
Tony
I
Trudnich.
love
Yeah,
Mike Weaver. Go
okay,
ahead.
Tony was always around the fights. He had sold his car dealership, so he was a millionaire. And he came into Vegas and hooked up with Mike Weaver and the Weaver triplets, Floyd, Lloyd, and Troy. And he promoted, boxing there. He was actually a promoter. And he was always wearing a lot of jewelry. He always had a lot of gold around his neck and just a really nice guy. And I had been over his house several times to drop off pictures. Beautiful condo right off the strip at the time. That was a nice place to live. Anyway, I think it was, I don't remember the year, whether it was 2014 that he was murdered. I think he was murdered because he was always walking around with that fancy jewelry. And I think it was a botched robbery. I really do.
A lot of deaths in boxing, they call suicides. But being on the
Yeah.
inside, I was listening to you talk about something like the death of Sonny Liston.
Yeah. Sonny was murdered by the mob. There was a guy, I won't mention his name because it's in a book that my friend Michael Ayers is writing. But there was the mob ran Las Vegas, and he was told to throw the second fight with Ali, and if he didn't throw it, they would kill him, his wife Geraldine, and their two children. Sonny took the dive. They still murdered.
I spoke to Paul Gallagher on a show. You're familiar with Paul. Paul told me the same thing. But other people that were in the camp, they deny it. They said, no, that didn't happen.
It did happen. And what happened? The other thing was, if you look at it, because I watched that tape a bunch of times, he hit Liston. Liston was hit with the right hand by Ali, but it just grazed him. It wasn't a big punch, right, Tim?
Yeah.
You've probably seen it too.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave you out of this conversation. I can talk forever.
No, you go ahead and talk. I'm learning.
Yeah, I'm always learning. So anyway, what happened is, so he took the dive, and then this cop wrote an article that he had found Sonny, and that Sonny was masturbating and died of a gunshot wound. And Sonny, no, it wasn't. They found a heroin shot in his arm, a needle, and they said, "Oh yeah, Sonny killed himself, and he was masturbating, and he got high." Well, the thing is, Sonny was terrified of needles, and Johnny Tocco told me that. because I asked him about Sonny because he was Sonny's first trainer and manager when he came to Vegas. And Sonny said, Linda, he was so afraid of needles that every time they had to do a blood test, we had to hold him down. He did not commit suicide.
I'm scared
And
too.
And
yeah,
let me shout out some other of my friends that came in here. The Angry Mexican man, shout out to you. Technique, I think I shouted you out earlier, bro. Hardcore Jay, man, my brother Jay, Hardcore Boxing. I see him every morning. Thank you, bro, for coming in here, man.
thank you.
You're in a place you're going to be informed, my brother. And you know, he just mentioned Arturo Gotti, that a little more
Yes,
recent.
there's another one.
No,
Arturo was murdered by his wife. And Dateline even did a story on it, and they said there was no way, by the way he fell, by the way the noose was hung, that he committed suicide. He didn't. And I've talked with his son. His son says the same thing. So Gotti did not kill himself. Neither did Alexis Arguello. I knew Alexis. Right, Timmy? Alexis didn't kill himself.
Wow. I'm just saying, this is history. I'm
Well,
learning. I'm learning.
Yeah.
Speaking.
Didn't Alexis die of 2 gunshot wounds to the heart that they considered suicide?
They said, I don't remember how he died, but I know that.
Yeah. He died from 2 gunshot wounds to the heart. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
1 gunshot wound to the heart is going to kill you. But
I'm just
apparently
learning.
the Sandinistas, and
Yes,
he was
exactly. It was a government hit. It was
Yes.
a government hit. So, and then we have Johnny Tapia. They said, of course, he was always on drugs, but he was a great fighter. And the latest is that I read is that they're doing an investigation because they think he was murdered as well. But that's just from one news article. So,
Wow.
and the same thing with Tony Ayala. Tony Ayala was, rapist. He got out of prison. They let him out early so he could fight. He went back to prison because he raped again, and they found him dead in his father's gym.
Wow.
And they said it was a suicide. But now it's being investigated as a murder as well. Now I've read this. You can't take, but usually what I read is usually from reliable sources. So that's what happened to Tony Ayala.
Wow.
And then of course there was what's his name? I didn't even get to see him. Oh, he was a scream. Not Edwin Valero. Yeah, Edwin Valero. They wrote a book called Berserk. And he was constantly on drugs, even when he was fighting. And
Wow.
he murdered his wife, left $90,000 cash for his children. They sent him to a Mexican prison. They said he hung himself. He didn't hang himself. The Mexicans killed him. Mexicans do not like wife murderers or baby killers or wife killers.
Oh.
And
wow.
yeah. And so they found him hanged or hung in his jail cell. We don't know, but there's a good possibility, so I can't think of anybody else.
Isn't there something, Bruce?
The referee, Richard Green.
Oh, Richard Green.
Yeah,
I think Richard Green was, I think he was murdered too because of the, I think it was it the Dooku Kim fight that he refereed?
Ray Mancini, Dooku Kim. I mean, there was so many tragedies in that fight. Dooku Kim's mom committed suicide a few months later.
2 weeks later.
2 weeks later.
2 weeks, that's what I read, yeah.
Crazy.
I'm just learning.
Could have been 2 months. Could have been 2 months now because we both have conflicting things. Tim, join in. Will you please join in? I'm enjoying looking at you, but join in.
I can't believe it. This the first I know about these situations, but this is the first time in that I'm like, I'm blown. I'm serious. Wow.
Yeah.
How about this photo, Linda?
Pardon?
Let me shout out people that came in here too. Also, man, my friend Derek Bailey over on Facebook, and
Sugar Ray.
That's Sugar Ray and Linda going down that. Look, you're in a crowded arena right there. Looks like, man.
She knew everybody, man.
Yeah, but let me tell you, it's a cardboard cutout. I was at the electronics show in Vegas.
Next time I see her, I'm getting an autograph. I'm serious. I'm
I'll bring one
serious.
of my photos of you to autograph too. But
Okay.
this, I saw Sugar Ray. This cut. It looks like because the way I edited it, it looks like it was really him. But it was a great big cardboard stand up, like a cutout of Ray. And they gave me the as you can see, they put gloves on me and they gave me the robe, and there it is. Oh, that's not
Uh-oh.
the one where I was going. That's that's a cute one there.
Wow,
how,
you
how,
still
was-
look
how
the
was
same. You still look the same. Beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
know.
You-
Man. She's so beautiful. She told me her age. I'm not going to say it, but
77.
Whoa.
77. She
Okay.
looks
Yeah.
younger than you do, Timmy, and you look like you're about 50 years old.
Who, me?
Yeah, you look great, Tim.
Thank you. 66.
See, he's a baby.
Uh-oh.
How was it to be around Sugar Ray Leonard? Linda, did you hang around with him a little bit?
I was around him too. Go ahead, Linda. Go ahead.
No, I want to hear what you had to say because I
sorry,
wasn't
Timmy.
around him that much. He had like private sessions. I never really got to know him at all.
He was really nice. He was really
Yeah.
nice. I was around him and walked into the casino. He talked to me several times. He was really nice and really, really cool to be around. That's
Yeah.
the view I got of him.
Well, you know what he did? He before he was married, he had a baby. They had a baby, and he and his family were evidently on welfare, or he was with his wife. When he made it as champ, he paid back every penny.
Wow.
Mhm.
Now I read that.
Yeah,
He never
yeah.
told me that 'cause I never
Well,
talked with him.
he actually got divorced so his wife could collect child support.
Yeah, because he did. And then when he became champion, the first thing he did was pay back that debt.
And
And it wasn't even. Yeah, he didn't even have to.
Paul
Yeah.
Driscoll said, Linda, I like the Hagler versus Duran fight with you in the corner next to Larry and Diane.
Oh
Want to talk about
yeah.
that a little bit?
Yeah, for that fight, because it was a Bob Arum fight, I was ringside. I was right on the apron, and I don't remember. I know that there was a photo of me that was taken from the platform, and I was over in the right hand corner of the photo. You know where the post is there. The boxing post. What do you call it?
The turnbuckle.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's where I was. And somebody took a picture and I posted. I said, see, I was at the fight. Yeah. I got pictures. I got a picture of it. I got pictures of everything,
How
I
about
just
Tim
had such
Witherspoon fights? You ever go to Tim
Pardon?
Witherspoon fights?
I
Have you
used
gone
to see her
Tim
all the time. I used to see Linda
you know
all the
what?
time.
That's what I'm looking for now because believe it or not, the book I'm putting together, I'm doing a chapter on Tim, and I found a picture. If I can find it in here, I got like 100 pictures to go through. It's a picture of the Riviera where you were fighting. Let's see, Tim. Let's see, it was Tim Witherspoon, and you were fighting. Oh,
I fought there several times.
who were you fighting? Who were you fighting?
You got a better memory than me.
I know. I've got it here somewhere. I've got the picture, and it shows the Riviera with you. With it says Tim Witherspoon. Pinklin Thomas is who you were fighting.
Okay, Penguin Thomas. I fought
Yeah,
the Riviera like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and I think you fought him twice actually.
No,
I'm
I
pretty
didn't
sure.
fight. No, I didn't fight him twice. At that particular time, Tyson was on the scene, and Don King really didn't care about the heavyweights. He cared about Tyson, so he was just mixing us up in a bowl, putting us in and fighting, trying to, whoever won. But Tyson was the main guy during that time. Don didn't care
Yeah.
about nobody.
Well, he didn't care about Tyson when Tyson got knocked out by Douglas either, did he?
Whoa, that's a good body shot you just hit him with.
Yep. Oh, I could hit him with a lot of them, let me tell you.
Wow.
But yeah, he walked right over Tyson. I wasn't at the fight because I think it was in England. And the reason I'm looking down is I'm looking for Tim's pictures. I know they're here. But yeah, he walks around with that stupid the American flag is not stupid, but he walks around with an American flag, and then he's in the ring. The only ones that should be in the ring are the fighter, the trainers. You can put the promoter in for a second and let the guys go at each other. He's
Yes.
right in the ring with the, and they told me, they said, Linda, we were at the fight. He walked right over Mike Tyson to get to Buster Douglas, and that's just horrific. It's just horrific.
Well, he was known. He was known to go into the winner's corner, just like that, just like that.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was known to do that.
I saw him do that with Michael Dokes when he got knocked out by Harry Coetzee. Don King stepped right over Michael Dokes' throne.
Yeah, he's very good at doing that. He's very good at doing that. He took a lot of their purses too. Mike Tyson was on a what do you call it? A podcast too with Snoop, and they were both stoned. And Mike was saying, he said he made 300 million. I don't know if that was on one fight or if that was on a bunch of fights, but Don King took 200 million of it. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with. Oh yeah, he took a lot of money and then said it was for his son because his son was the manager. I never saw his son at the only time I saw his son was at a weigh-in or one of the parties before or after. I never saw him in a gym once.
Well, I'm a witness.
Well, that was Tim's manager too.
I'm a witness, and this is the results of me going through my career. And going through fighting and meeting everybody, Linda, you, Bruce. At the end, I just want to say I love everybody. I didn't have to make it this far. I made a champion, and I'm happy right now. But I wasn't happy really when I was boxing. And Carl King had no say so. He had no say so. Don said, "I'm Carl. Carl is me." And after the fight, you didn't come see your manager. You just get a check. You didn't talk to the manager. There was no negotiating. So I'm just saying these things. But I moved on with my life. People a lot of people like me. A lot of people don't like Don. But I move on with my life. I just want to let everybody know I'm happy. I'm not upset. Like Blood Green, real quick. Blood Green. Me and Bruce be trying to get him to just concentrate on his career and the rest of his career instead of talking about Don because he's going to ruin himself. So. Don was something.
Don King's not going to live in your head rent free. Don King's not living in your head rent free.
He's what?
He's not going to live in Tim's head. He's not going to live in Tim's head rent free.
Right.
No. Exactly. Now it's the same thing with all the fights.
No, we could talk about him. That's great.
Let me shout out a couple more cats that came in here, man. Because if they weren't in here, we'd be talking to ourselves, and at the end of a half hour,
I'm having a good time. I don't care if we talk to ourselves. It's great.
Yeah, but man, I love sharing the knowledge. I love sharing
Linda knows a whole lot. I'm really surprised.
I know, man, and I haven't even started with her yet, man. I want to start talking about some of the boxing in the '80s, some of the inside stuff she was involved in. With the heavyweight tournament. Now, being a woman, Linda, did you get the access that the men had, or did they kind of
Well, I didn't want the access. I did not. Tim, you can tell him. I was never in. I went into a dressing room one time to interview. It was Johnny Toko's to interview Larry Holmes. And I went into the locker room. Larry was lying on a table with nothing on but a towel, and some woman was massaging him. And I walked out, and that was it. I never went. I didn't have any need to be in a locker room. These guys are married. They have families and everything. I didn't need to do that.
But how about as far as being a photographer, getting like ringside seats and getting good access to the fighters,
No, I had a rough time. The guys would take my seat if I went to the bathroom or if I went out for a drink.
Wow.
One guy I was covering a fight at Caesar's Palace. Oh, I shouldn't mention that name because they always gave me a lousy seat. But when it came to a small fight, Caesar's wanted me ringside. When I say small, I don't mean small, but the littler weights. Like I was ringside for, Sanchez Castañon. I was ringside for Sanchez Gomez.
Wow.
Because they don't draw the crowd the heavyweights draw. They never will. And one reason I think, one boxer told me, he said, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. But when you're watching two heavyweights, you can be anywhere in that arena and see them because
Mm.
they're big. You know, Sanchez was my size, 5'2", 5'3", little guys. And even though, like Boza Edwards, a friend of mine, he fought and he had epic fights with Bobby Chacon. And they were still not like a heavyweight fight. Never like a heavyweight fight.
How about will you at a lot of these fights? Like for instance, to me, one of the greatest fights of all time, the Salvador Sanchez, Wilfredo Gomez, the mariachi against the samba. That was awesome affair.
That was a wonderful fight. Because what happened was, and I read this in a Spanish boxing magazine. Gomez had made a comment to Sal in Spanish at the event, not the weigh-in, at the press conference, and he said, "When I finish with you, your face will be unrecognizable."
Wow.
Now Gomez is one of the best, and he was loved by the Puerto Ricans. He still is.
Yes.
He's not. Well, he's doing better. He was in bad shape before, but he's doing a lot better now. But it was an exciting fight because you had Puerto Rico screaming on one side and Mexico screaming on the other side, and Salvador just schooled him. It was when he knocked him down. I think it was the 8th round. Knocked him out. Well, I don't think he knocked him out. I think it was a TKO. But Gomez got up. The whole eye, the whole face was swollen, bloody. It was ugly.
Wow.
But one of my favorite fights. Again, a Bob Arum fight. Can't help that.
Okay.
I was on the apron for Davey Moore versus Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran's birthday.
32nd birthday.
Yep, and they flew me. Top Rank flew me to New York to film it, and I had predicted an 8th round knockout by Roberto, and everybody said, "Oh, come on, he's older. He did the no mas." First of all, let me say he didn't do the no mas. That came from what's his name, Howard Cosell.
Howard Cosell.
Yeah, couldn't stand him. He said, "Yeah," he said, "no mas." Roberto never said that, and I got that right from his daughter Dahlia. He did not say no mas. He just got disgusted, and he was tired, and I think he was a bit frustrated because Ray, knows how to pedal around the ring. So anyway, I was at this fight, and doggone it, in the 8th round, Roberto knocked out Davey.
Wow.
It was just too much for him. Davey was a great fighter, but he wasn't ready for this animal. And I hate to call a boxer an animal, but he was a ring beast.
And like 15,000 people at the Garden sang happy birthday.
23,000.
I'm sorry, 23,000.
This is the Muhammad Ali of knowledge. I the Muhammad Ali of knowledge. I don't know none of this stuff. She knows it. I'm telling you. I'm sitting there listening in the maze.
There, champ. I was there, and then I was there, and then I get a call from Sports Illustrated. Now, mind you, Sports Illustrated always got great pictures because they had a photographer at every side of the squared circle, and each photographer had an apprentice helping him load the film and stuff. I didn't have any of that. Wow. I shot the fight with 2 rolls of color and a roll of black and white. And I got the knockdown shot, and it appeared in Sports Illustrated. Yep.
Wow.
So, and then
you could have charged people. You could have charged people for this show. This is knowledge. I'm a heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm amazed. I'm listening to Linda. I used to see her all the time, and now I'm saying, "Wow, all this stuff coming from Linda. Wow, you need a bodyguard. You're gonna need a bodyguard."
No, I've watched enough boxing from you guys to know how to defend myself. Okay. And I'm pretty good at Tai Chi too. So let them come near me and see what happens.
Oh, so you know how to do martial arts?
Well, yeah, Tai Chi. Yeah, I took it for 10 years. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
I'm lethal. But I just loved it, and I got into it because my dad was into boxing when I was just in high school in 65. I watched, I think it was 65, Muhammad Ali knocked out, was it Henry Cooper? And it was so bloody. And I said to my father, "How can you watch this?" And he said, oh no, I love boxing. Well, as a matter of fact, he did a picture for me. One time I used to substitute teach while I was working on my master's in special ed. And Dad went to a Hilton press conference. There was Mike Tyson, Kevin Rooney, and it was at the Hilton. I don't know who Mike was fighting, but Dad took the pictures for me because I was teaching school. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. My dad did photography. Yep. When I was 5 years old, we were developing film we lived in Washington, D.C. We were developing film in the basement. So my dad, that's how he worked his way through law school. He did photography and he drove a cab. No free rides for my dad.
Hard
Yep.
work pays off.
And you were employed as a special education teacher? Special ed?
I was 34 years, yeah.
Wow. 34 years. Wow. Exactly, man. And you still found time to cover all the fights, travel all around the world while you were doing that?
Oh yeah. Well, I had 10 years of long range substitute teaching while I worked on my master's. And then when I came here, I had another 18 years in. And then I did student teaching in Maryland, in Largo, right around where Sugar Ray was. And so in between, I was at the gym all the time. And Johnny would call me. I love Johnny Taco. God bless him. He was such a sweetheart. And Tim, you were there. You trained at Toco's gym.
Yeah.
Pinklin Thomas trained there. Of course, Freddie Roach did. And Roger didn't, though. He trained at the Golden Gloves gym, which is now torn down.
Okay.
But there were just so many great times I had there. And sometimes there were 3 fights a week. They would have a fight on Saturday, like CBS, and on Sunday, NBC. And then, remember, Tim, we had the Silver Slipper going.
I remember that. You got a better memory than I do. And
sometimes you can see how I pause now and then, but that's normal. There's just so much
defense, but I don't know what it is. I'll be forgetting.
Me too, man. Me too. In fact, every time I think of a question, I start listening to you guys talk about it, and then I can't remember the question I was going to ask you. So
see, that's what happens. I'm looking at you too, and then I say, "Oh, look at Tim," because I haven't seen him since 2019. You were at the Ring 10 event that was raising money for fighters. They had a benefit. This guy Matt Ferrago used to do.
Was that in New York? That was in Long Island, right?
Yep. And it was in 2019. And
right.
You were there because you took a picture of me with Macho Camacho's son kissing me on the cheek.
Yes.
Yes, you did. I can remember that, but I can't tell you what I had for lunch. I can't tell you what I had for breakfast because you know what? It's not important to me. I don't care. I care about boxing.
Let's talk a little bit about Macho Man. You just mentioned the Macho Man.
He was murdered too.
Yeah.
Another one. But as a person, how was he to deal with? Always had a smile on his face.
The time that I spent with him, I was down in training camp down in Florida. When they sent me, what happened was Don King and them thought that my lawyers were up in New York somewhere, and so they sent me down in Florida because they thought my lawyers that was going to fight against them was up in New York. Don't you know they sent me 15 minutes away from my lawyers that was dealing with the case? When he sent me down to Florida, I was only 15 minutes away from the attorneys that was helping me with the case. So he thought they was in New York. He sent me down to Florida, and so when I was training, I was going to the office, coming back and forth, talking to the lawyers, using strategy. So. Yeah, we was down there in Florida. Down there, I think I was thinking that was the Bone Crusher fight. I think the second.
I know. I have pictures of you. Yeah, and of course the gym is gone now. It's not gone. It's used for something else. But there's a little plaque that says Miami. I think was it the 5th Street or the 12th Street gym? I can never remember. Angelo's gym because I was down there. Yeah, I filmed Macho. And I think it was in Miami when it happened. I think Macho had a fight down there too, and
I think he was Edwards down there.
Yeah, I was training with him. with him.
And so what happened is his mom was there, Maria. My mom had flown down with me, and we're sitting in his hotel room on the beach. We're 9 stories up, And all of a sudden we hear ding dong, and in runs Macho, and nothing on but a pair of Speedos, barefoot,
Wow.
just Speedos. He goes running out onto the awning out there. Oh, well, now we're 9 stories up, and he starts spinning like a monkey or like a stripper on the the awning pole. And I'm in stitches. And at that time we didn't have cell phones, and he's swinging around, and Maria, his mom, is screaming her head off, and I'm in stitches. My mother is screaming. And finally he came in. He was so much fun. I never saw him without a smile. Same with Bobby Chacon, schoolboy. Never saw them without a smile. It could be the worst day in the world for them. They always had a smile.
I'm
And I,
gonna say something real quick. We were in the car. Like I'm training for my fight, and he's training. So we was in the car driving, and so we had marijuana, and he was smoking,
see,
and
I
I was
told you.
smoking it, and then it was time for me to get a drag. You know what he did? He took the weed and threw it out the window. I
It
said,
sounds
"Hey,
like
what's up?" He said, "No, we got to fight." He said, "No, we got to fight. We got to train." He said, "You don't need no more." I was like, "Yo," I said, "Hey, yo, it's my turn." He said, "No, we got to train." So it was my turn, and he threw it out the window. And we kept on driving. He said, "No, we got to train." This is after he took his drag.
after he took his drag. Yeah, that's Macho. That was
Yeah.
Macho. He was so much fun. I never heard a bad word about him. He was so much fun,
Yes, he
and he
was.
loved his fans.
and talented, man. He was so
Yes, he
fast.
was.
Oh, he was so
Fast.
elusive. And
Yep.
before that Rosario fight, before he got hit with that left hook,
Hmm.
he was get in the pocket. He'd trade with him. He was a
Yeah.
knockout earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
the fight that he had with Bazooka Lamone, that
Yeah.
Bazooka.
was a thing of beauty.
Yeah. I did
He,
not see that.
he couldn't sit still. Like we sitting there talking. As soon as you turn this way and you turn there, we like, where the hell? This
Yeah.
kid is all the way down the street. I don't know
Yeah.
where he got that energy from. As soon as you see he talking to Tim, yeah, Tim. I say, okay. As soon as you turn this way, what the? This kid had energy out of nowhere.
Well,
I
it's.
was
I
like,
think his. Yeah. Does his son? Do you know his son at
yeah, I
all or
see
no?
his son about 4 or 5 times in the last 4 months.
Is he like
He's
his
trying to
dad?
train. He's trying to train, I think, for a fight or
Yeah.
something.
I
Does
had
he?
his son. I had his son on a show, and if you close your eyes, you swear it was Hector talking to you.
Yeah.
And it's a carbon copy. The voice is
Oh, the voice, the walk, the hair. He even has the same birthmark on his side that his dad has. And when I met him, I almost fainted because he came walking in, and Macho had been murdered 8 years before. And so I asked him, because that's the cool thing about a cell phone. Anybody can use it to take
Yeah.
pictures. And I said, "Oh, get a picture of Macho Jr. and me." And he gave me a kiss on the cheek. And I said, wait, let me pose for it. And then he gave me another kiss on the cheek. But he was just like his dad. I don't know if he has the same talent, but oh, was he funny. He was just a hoot. Everybody loved him. He'd come in those crazy, silly costumes, and dance around the ring. And I don't think there's been anyone like him. Though I'll tell you who's a character that I like now. I'm just crazy about him. Tank. What do they call him? Gervonta Davis.
Okay. Tank.
Very talented. And I love when he does backflips because I caught him in midair doing a backflip. He is a riot. Now I wasn't there. I just saw it on a film. So I
Okay.
pretended like I was doing my photography and shot it. And they
He
said,
has that
"How
dangerous
did you
left
do?"
uppercut. He has that
now.
dangerous left uppercut.
Let
Mm.
me let me ask you something, Linda. This weekend there's a huge fight coming on. Turkey Al Sheikh's putting it on in Los Angeles. It's all day event. Bud Crawford's going for a title, and
Oh,
Andy
Bud
Cruz.
Crawford. I know that name.
Yeah, Bud Crawford. Oh, it's huge, man. Right now the names go one after another. It's an all day
Eric,
card.
what's that one of the other one he fought? Spence?
Yeah,
Oh,
Errol Spence.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't follow it
let
much.
me.
It's not the same.
No, it's
I'm,
not. It's not.
I'm gonna pull up this card. I'm gonna pull up the schedule because this is really noteworthy. And You know, when I'm here, of course, I can never think of things. Isaac Pitbull Cruz is fighting
Pitbull.
Rayo Venezuela for a super lightweight title. Terrence Bud Crawford for the super welterweight title against Madrimov. Andy Ruiz is fighting Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Big Baby
Oh,
because of
oh,
steroids.
okay.
The,
The only name I know is Crawford. I don't follow it that much anymore. There's
how about the heavyweights? You
That
following like
means something. She don't follow it that much no more.
you know
The
it
thing,
doesn't
the,
surprise
the
me
thing,
anymore. It doesn't surprise
yeah,
me.
well, real quick, the thing is too. All these boxers today, everybody is all offense. Back in the day, the trainers taught you defense and offense. You see these fighters going all the way out because they don't know how to relax and catch punches and counter back. And that's beauty. I don't see that anymore today. Everybody just throwing punches. Nobody relax. Everybody moving. Instead of back in the day, you see the boxers come out and relax, slip, boom. A punch come here, block it, block it. You don't see that no more these days. Everybody just throwing punches because they don't have defense. That's the
well
only thing
also
that I'm kind of discouraged about nowadays.
But
well
me
there are
and
too
Tim.
many champs. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Oh no,
Bruce.
you're right. You know, elaborate on that.
There are
There's
too many.
too many.
Too many champs. You've got the IBO, the IBF, NABF, WBC, WBA. I think I already mentioned WBO, and then
Well,
there's like an
even those
IBO.
four, even those four, that's too many.
Too many. We need the like we had in the 80s, the WBA and the WBC, and each champ fought for the undisputed title. Everybody's a champ. 12-0, and they're a champ already. I
That's
don't follow it. I just don't. I like Gervonta Davis. I like Crawford. I like Spence. But and for the heavyweights, I like Usyk. I think he is a scream, and he's very talented. I like Tim's opinion on it because Tim is a
oh,
heavyweight. What do you
Tim and
think
I
of
watched.
Usyk? And
Huh?
what do you think of Usyk? And how do you feel about Tyson Fury? Do you think he's a great champ?
They lack the things that we were taught. And so to me, I don't really get a big kick out of a lot of things. You said moves a lot. He moves a lot, and that's how he accomplished what he does. Defensive. See, I keep looking at defense and offense because boxing is an art. Tyson
Right.
Fury went down on the canvas. Dante Wilde went down on the canvas. Anthony Joshua went down on the canvas. You name
Yeah.
them. Dylan White. All those
Yep.
top guys went down on the canvas because of the lack of defense. They taught us defense and offense when I was boxing. And if you didn't get that knowledge from them guys back, Georgie Benton, Slim Robinson, you
Oh
Joe
yeah.
Frazier, if you didn't
Eddie
get that
Fudd.
knowledge, it's kind of hard. So I look at them, but I don't really get excited like I used to. I look, oh,
See,
this
that's
is great, but I don't get excited because I don't see defense. Everybody's throwing offense and rushing when you could just relax and make it look beautiful. Slip, bang, bang, right? Block, bang, bang.
No,
Everybody's throwing punches.
Saturday afternoon, Tim. You and I watched Joe Joyce and Derek Chisora,
Oh
and
my goodness.
let me finish. People in England are talking about that fight like it was Ali Frazier 4. I
Yeah.
mean, really. And Tim was more interested in going out and getting his sandwich when the fight was over than he was watching the fight. I mean, it was.
But but there is fights like that, Rocky Balboa fights, where people just support their boxer. They don't care what kind of style, they don't care what kind of movement, as long as their boxer win or get in that ring. But I like to see art. I like to see a boxer win with defense and offense. So that was a fight that it was the country where hey, they just want to get in and knock each other out. But I'm more interested in seeing art, seeing the sport, and see the beauty of it. So this fight, that's a Rocky Balboa fight. That's a
But there ain't
Rocky
nothing,
Balboa
there ain't
fight.
nothing like that big Tim Witherspoon overhand right to put him to sleep in the end of at about the tenth or 11th round.
Well, I'm always thinking defense. Also, I'm not only thinking offense. I'm laying back waiting for him, the person, my opponent, throw a punch so I can block it and counter. I'm not in there just throwing punches. Is a plan. And these guys just got all offense and you don't see nobody blocking punches like this. You might see them, somebody throw multiple punches and they get their hands up, but defense is just as beautiful as offense if you use it. It is.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
And the old
100%.
timers
And
are the one: Georgie Benton, Slim, Hank Dorm, all those guys, Joe Frazier.
Eddie
Just look
Futch.
at them. Ali was the only one that spoke like a butterfly and didn't really block punches, but he was offense and he got the job done. But it looks beautiful when you do both of them, and that's what I don't see these days.
Hey, let me shout out to Big Dog Willie, man. Big Dog Willie just gave me a $10 super chat. He said, "Shout out, salute to Bruce Gass, Tim, and Linda Platt. It's delightful to hear the history of boxing from women's point of view.
Well,
Thank
we
you
on the show with a historian.
boxing, man. Hey,
Linda
man,
is a historian. Woo.
I I know she is. And, it's funny we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg because Linda's got so much. That, we, like I said, we're only on the first floor over here. I knew this was going to be like a crazy conversation, and especially since I got you over here, Champ, because Tim lived through those '80s, and Linda's a boxing scholar from the '80s. So I mean, having you
Well,
guys together.
I'm more of a photographer, but I get into it too because I did have to write. I consider myself a photojournalist.
Okay.
But I think another great fight that was really amazing. Of course, I was up on the platform for it because it was Caesar's Palace, but it was Hagler Hearns. Whoop.
Yes.
Hagler, it's considered one of the top first rounds ever. And had Tommy not broken his hand because he had something wrong with a knuckle or something, it would have gone. I don't know if it would have gone the distance, but Tommy had. Excuse me. Tommy had the long arms and the height advantage, but Hagler was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, real quick. This is a situation where the boxer was all offense. Now, I have nothing against Emmanuel Stewart, Tommy Hearns, and all of his peers in boxing. They had all offense. You never seen none of them block punches. They always fought them. If you find the video where Tommy Hearns took a hand and blocked a punch, they were all offense. You can't take I can't take nothing from Emmanuel Stewart, but they were mainly offensive boxers.
Fighters.
Just check the videos out. Every single one of them.
I'll be darned. You're right. I've never seen Tommy really block a punch.
Yeah.
It was always just.
And you can look right down the line at the Kronk fighters. They're all like that. Hal McKenty, McCrory.
McCallum, I think, was also a.
Well, McCallum wasn't a strict Kronk fighter. He just trained at the Kronk. McCallum wasn't a Olympic fighter. McCallum grew up in Jamaica. He wasn't trained Kronk style. Kronk style.
Okay.
When they train those guys like Milton McCrory and like Gerald McClellan, all offense. That's why a lot of those guys, when we talk to them now, they're not with it. They have the.
I wouldn't know how to discuss it if I wasn't taught it. See, but I was taught defense and offense. They were both. One is just as important as the other.
And a lot of these older fighters too, they got hit so hard in the head that they can't carry on a coherent sentence, and maybe that's because of the lack of defense. I don't know. There's other guys like I'm going to bring this thing up too, Linda. Maybe you can speak on this, but this guy lived to 92, and I don't think he had any whatsoever, and he seemed to have gotten more hits to the head.
Yeah, but he put his hands up, but he did get hit a lot. He did keep his hands up. I watched some of his videos. Linda might know a little bit more because she probably associated or know.
Well, I know Linda was the photographer at Jake LaMotta's wedding. Maybe she can tell us that story.
Yeah, I was at his wedding. That's a neat story. I understand he was not a nice guy, and he would go into the restaurants and steal the tips off the table.
You serious?
Yeah, one of my friends told me that, one of my boxing friends. But what happened was he wanted to pay me $200 to photograph his fight. This was his wife's, the wedding. It was his fifth wedding, fifth he had 7 women. This was his 5th. And Teresa, she was darling. And so I went, I filmed it, and there was Sugar Ray Robinson, because they fought 6 times. There was Sugar Ray Robinson as the best man. So I'm taking all these pictures of them and everything, and I send them. I kept copies, and I sent the film, which was really stupid, to Jake. Never heard from him. Didn't get it done. I'm in Mexico filming a Lupe Pintor fight, and I get back to the hotel, and they said, Linda, that your dad needs to talk with you immediately. I thought something was wrong.
Oh.
Turns out, was the New York Times called. I mean, you can't get any better than the New York Times.
That's right.
They wanted a picture. My dad goes into my bathroom in my 1-room apartment and gets a picture. Within 2 days, I had $1,200 for that picture.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I think I'm the only female boxing ever to be in there, to be in Rolling Stone, to be in Sports Illustrated. Now there may be some, but they came way after me.
The thing was, when the Jake stiffed you, didn't he stiff you for the wedding?
He stiffed me. I couldn't get. He gave me his phone number, and then he wouldn't answer the phone. That's Ken Camel who keeps. Okay, here we go. Marvin's brother and I are friends, but
Marvin Campbell, man, what a fighter!
Oh, he's great. He's being inducted into the National Boxing Hall of Fame, and I think and I pushed him to get into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. Great champion. Did you ever hear the story about his stolen belt?
No.
His WBC belt was stolen shortly after he won the title, and he had the big headdress that he used to wear all the time. That was stolen too. I don't know who stole it. There were rumors his wife did when they got divorced, but I can't I don't know. So anyway, what happens is years and years later, this guy is walking through the woods. He finds the WBC belt with only one feather was left. And he took the thing and stuck it in his car, forgot about it. Years later, 35 years it took for Marvin to get his belt back. 35 years, this guy took his car and was going to have it scrapped. The owner of the scrap place decided to go through the car before he he scrapped it. There was Marvin's belt.
Wow.
And there is the coolest video of Marvin dancing with his belt, even though the belt was, old. His brother repainted it. I told his brother not to touch it because it was original, but he repainted it. And then I told him to call, what's his name? Suleiman, Mauricio Suleiman, to get another belt. So Marvin has 2 belts, but he was a great fighter. Just terrific.
He was strong and determined. And
yep. First cruiserweight champ, WBC cruiserweight champ.
Who, Marvin Hegler?
No, Marvin Camel. And I
Marvin Camel.
I think he fought Carlos de Leon for that title. I think that was.
Yeah, I have to show you.
I remember him. I remember.
I have to show you a fun.
Wasn't he a southpaw?
Oh yes, I think. Southpaw. Yeah, I think he was a southpaw.
Yeah.
And he trained at Toko's gym. That's how I got to know him. That's how I got to know most of the fighters. Most of them did train at Toko's gym because then the hotels got greedy and they had him trained at the hotels. But
she keeps saying Toko, and all I know was Taco. So
everybody called him Toko. He's Italian.
Before I forget to ask you, Paul Driscoll wants to know, Linda, when's your book coming out?
Oh, I'm hoping in about 3 months, maybe.
Wow.
It's a labor of love because it's going to have all the heavyweights and some of the contenders and some of the sparring partners. And I'm still on the heavyweights now. I have, let's see who I'm working on Tim. I just got Mike Weaver finished and I'm working on Tim now. And then there was another one. And then of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one of like the older champs, when I was here, like Muhammad Ali, Willie Pett, Jersey Joe Walcott, Joe Louis. I took pictures of all of them. And so there'll be a special section on the older fighters, and I'm doing it, weight class by weight, or weight division by weight division. And that's what's taking so long.
Right.
I'll get it out. Let
me say something too, man. Linda contributes whatever she makes to fighters who need the money. it's an amazing thing. I know she's not going to say it herself, but she takes care of down and out fighters, and I
Yes,
just want
yes, yes.
she's a great philanthropist in boxing also.
Well, I have to be because they did so much for me. Tim accepted me. He didn't say, "Hey, you're a woman. Get out of the gym."
Yeah.
I was the first. They treated me with respect. They had a sense of humor. I mean, I had a great time, and I was treated better by the fighters than I was by Caesar's Palace. I hate to even mention the name
Whoa.
of that hotel.
Yeah, that. Uh
You know,
oh.
I was never ringside for a Tyson fight, not
No,
once. Didn't matter because I had Japan sent me a telephoto lens that worked just as well, but I was never ringside for Tyson fight. But I
Wow,
have
that wasn't cool. That wasn't cool.
yeah, but I have photos that were even better because I took him. See, his just like Marvin Hagler, his training sessions were private. And Toko would call me and he'd say, "Come down to the gym. Get down here. You got 20 minutes. Hagler's on his way. When Hagler gets here, I'll lock the door." So I was the only female ever allowed in there because he knew that I wouldn't fool around with the fighters. And then, of course, when King's girl came in, he let her in. But she came way after me. But there was one lady who was allowed in. She had a kid who was only 8 years old. His name was Bomber Joey Smith, and she would train him. And I think she was the first ever female boxing trainer in Nevada.
Wow.
And Joey still writes back and forth. He used to hang out at the gym. There was always something going on at Johnny's gym. But when Hagler came and when Tyson came, I was the only one allowed in there. And I didn't talk to them while they were training. I just, when they were wrapping their hands and stuff, I stayed out of the way. I never used a flash in their faces. I could never figure out how those old time fights had those flashes going off around the ring. I never used a flash. I always had it set. I think I used a flash at press conferences. Now they have all this digital stuff. I can take just as good a picture with this camera, my i14, than I could take. Somebody's in the door, but it's
hey,
okay.
hey, man,
And that's my watchdog there.
You have a dog and a bunch of cats. You have animals, I think, as much as I do, more than I do.
I have 6 dogs. Excuse me. I'm on a
Okay,
schedule.
yeah,
I walk.
get a drink of water. Take a little.
Six dogs. You
Uh,
got six
We'll be here.
dogs.
Hang on a second. Yeah, somebody is at the door. It's probably my neighbor. He's supposed to be watching this. See, there's my dog,
Uh-oh.
Skylar.
Look at all those dogs.
Yeah, that's Skylar. Let's see.
Yo, Bruce,
Rich, I'm on the podcast.
she knows she has that knowledge.
Oh, you didn't come to the
I used
door?
to see her all the time, and she got the knowledge. A lot of stuff.
Okay, Rich. Thank you. I'm sorry. Would you say that's
No,
my
I'm
neighbor?
just saying that.
Tim's just polishing your apples, man. You
Yeah,
just tell
you
her
got
how
you
have.
know. She know way more than me. I'm just like a baby in the game.
Well, you're
I'm
teaching me some
serious.
stuff too, though, about the defensive moves and stuff, because that's something. See, that's old school. You ran the fighters of the '80s were all old school. They chopped wood. They ran in the snow.
Yes.
Now you have these pampered powder puffs who have, some of them can fight, but they have fancy, beautiful gyms. You go to Toko's gym, you would die in the summer. It was like
Yeah.
110 degrees in there because he wanted the fighters to concentrate on, and it also helped them
They
lose
wouldn't
weight.
let us lift weights. They wouldn't let us
Yeah,
lift weights.
no. And
They wouldn't
now,
let us lift weights or anything. And I know it would have benefited me.
yeah. And see at the new gyms, they're beautiful. Mayweather's gym. No, I talk with Jeff now and then in Vegas. That's a beautiful gym, but
Wow.
it's so modern. It looks like a Hollywood. Uh, uh, it looks like a Hollywood. And Top Rank, I've never been at. I think Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. Eddie Gregory.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I
He
was his
trains
sparring
fighters.
partner.
Yeah. And Boza Edwards, his fights were always exciting. Boza and Bobby.
Rosa Edward. I was
Yeah.
with Mustafa when he won the title. So I was real quick. My trainer, Slim Robinson, they would call him because he knew his stuff. And I was
Yeah.
sparring partners to several different people: Mike Rossman, Eddie Mustafa, Who else?
Oh,
A couple of other people. So they called Slim in to straighten them out. He straightened Mustafa out. Mustafa won the title. He knocked out Victor Galindez. And
ooh,
you know, that's how I know about defense and all that things. They would
yeah,
call Slim in to straighten their boxers out, and I just be a sparring partner, and we going
Yeah.
with Slim all the time. So I
well,
do know about. If I don't see a boxer with defense, that's the first thing I'm gonna say. Hey, yo, he's on offense. Somebody better help him with the defense. Eventually, he's going to get caught.
well, see,
Things like that.
Eddie Futch used to do that too.
Eddie
He
Futch.
had he worked with Larry Holmes too, and then Ray Arcel, because that's the thing that not Ray Arcel, but there was another one. It was a Tyson's trainer was Customato. Customato told Tyson two things to remember. One of them, you know, keep your gloves up when you throw a punch. Keep yourself protected at all times, and throw combinations and move that head back and forth. And that's what he taught Mike. And then Mike had a heavy bag that had, when he practiced, I saw a picture of it online. It was labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4, where he was supposed to throw the punch.
That
Yes.
was
And so then I figured out what Customato was doing. When Mike was in the ring, Cus would say 1, 4, 6, which meant maybe right hand, left, you know, right hook, whatever.
it was beautiful. It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
and so that's how Mike trained. He still uses that bag. I think that was interesting. I never saw it down at Coco's gym though.
What do
But
you think?
Yeah,
He slept?
my trainer, real quick, my trainer, he would tell me that he didn't want to like go by numbers because he wanted me to select the combinations. And then in
oh,
your mind, you think of 1, 2, 3, 4, and all that. And he told me that that I would have to make a decision out there in the ring. So I see a lot of trainers saying 1, 2, 3, 4, all that stuff, but
yeah.
but it made a lot more sense to me and me being in there and engaging, thinking about my own combinations instead of those numbers. So yeah, my trainer never taught me about numbers, but there was a lot of other trainers that did.
Well, see, also, I could tell sometimes when they were throwing punches and combinations because I could hear them in the corner. And I don't even know how you guys could hear anybody in the corner with the screaming and hollering going on. Is that your belt behind you?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
that.
let's see it. Come on, Tim.
Okay,
There
He
he
that.
shows,
is.
he shows
But
that belt
see,
a lot to us, but that's
but see,
okay.
once they give you, you get the original belt once you win the title, but when you lose it, they give you a duplicate. At that time, Suleiman and and Don King and them was some really good friends. We was going at it because of the way I was being treated. So I didn't get a belt. That belt came from England. That
Oh,
belt, somebody in England gave it to me. So once I lost the title, they never sent me a belt because I was taking down the court. I was exposing that I was getting ripped off and saying certain things. Eventually, I learned to just leave it alone. But this belt was given to me by somebody in England. I never received my compliment the belt
And what we
after I
have to
gave them
do,
back the original belt. So when you
and what,
lose, you got to
and
give them back the original belt.
but what we also have
oh.
to do, Linda, we have to get Tim his WBA belt too, because he doesn't have that.
Yeah, I got to get that.
Well,
Yeah.
I have connections at Top Rank, and I don't have connections with Mauricio, but I mean I know him. And
Well,
Tim, you
well,
should have a
WBA
pardon.
would be WBA belt is what he needs. He doesn't have a WBA belt.
Oh,
He was one.
okay.
He was one of
Let me
the
write
only
it
teams
down.
who ever won both belts.
Let
So
me write it down.
and
Well, I kept exposing or kept saying things that was being done to me. I didn't care. I was getting ripped off, and and I just had to speak up about it. I was getting ripped off, and so I didn't get the belt. They never gave me a duplicate of the WBA. And plus, I was two-time USBA and one-time, no, two-time North American. Those little belts they give you to pacify you, so your next one is going to be the big one. So they give you the
yeah,
little.
but that WBA belt, you need that, man. You got the WBC behind you. You need the WBA on the other side,
I
and
will
that's
talk
that's a
with
mission.
I'll talk with Bruce Trampler, or because he's still there, and Paul Goodman, and see if
Okay.
they can get a belt for Tim.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did not know that, Tim.
Tim does a lot of podcasts, and if he doesn't have that WBA belt behind him, it just doesn't seem right.
No, it isn't. I didn't know that, Tim. I'm glad I
yeah,
asked about the belt. I
yeah.
Mm.
did not know that.
No, they
I
didn't
mean,
give me the belt. They didn't send me a duplicate
Hey,
because I was exposing some of the things that was going on. Then eventually,
oh,
I just left it alone. I stopped talking about it.
hey,
yeah.
let me shout out to my good brother Will Combat Sports, who's in the room, man. Salute to you, my brother. Great show. He's on all the time on YouTube, Linda. If you're ever bopping around WCS, check him out, man. He knows his stuff.
What's his
Call
name?
World Combat Sports, WCS.
Oh, okay.
Cool brother out there, man. All the people that come in here are cool people, man. And that's what we do on YouTube. We go to different people's channels. We support their channels. We get information. Me, I'm on YouTube all day. I get my news on YouTube. I get my entertainment. I get my sports. I get my interactions. I mean, I hardly go out anymore. It's almost sad, but it's safe.
We don't know the hysterian. Hysterian, she knows way more than me. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
but I want to get your belt because that doesn't make
Okay.
sense. That's not right. And
Nah,
the
I've been
top
pushing.
ranked, yeah, the top ranked people have been very good to me, and I may be able to pull it off. Because I never got involved in the politics. I just did the pictures, and they bought them and flew me around. And Mel Grubb is the one. He could really help, but he passed away. Mel
Oh,
was
okay.
the one of the matchmakers too. Bruce is a matchmaker, and then Goodman, and isn't Bobby Goodman's son? I forgot his name, but his first
Oh,
name is
Bobby.
Goodman.
Bobby passed away, huh?
Oh, yeah, Bobby Goodman, I think, passed away a while back.
Wow.
Of course, Eddie is gone. All of the great trainers, Toko died in 1997. He was
Wow.
87 years old.
Wow.
And then, of course, Raj passed away a couple years ago, and Roger and I were extremely close. I was also close with Sal Memby.
Wow.
Oh, one of the best. Talk about defense. You couldn't
Yeah.
hit Saul Mooney with a shotgun. I mean that dude was slick. But that was Saul's problem. Saul didn't have the offense to go with the defense.
Yeah. I was
You need
Oh,
camp with
oh,
training
you,
camp. Wow. That is
yeah,
I'll tell you an interesting thing about Saul Mombi. He's one of the few fighters, you can count on one hand if you have a few fingers missing that fought in 5 different eras. Saul
yeah,
fought
yeah.
in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. And the only other 2 have done that would be Jack Johnson and I'll think of the other one shortly. It's not George Foreman, but anyway, yeah,
Well,
it's,
died.
it's
He
very
was
rare.
like 62, I think, when he passed away. He was 60 or 62, but he wasn't. His son told me he wasn't in good shape. He passed away at the VA hospital, and he wasn't in really good shape. I called Diane Holmes, and Larry was very close to him, and so Larry
I,
did the
yeah.
eulogy.
I heard Larry's not in good shape either. Did you hear anything about that?
I watched Larry on a video, and it alarmed me. So I called Diane, but I never got a phone call back. And then I contacted his son because, I like to hear it right from and I didn't get a response. But I've noticed that when he was walking, he was walking like Muhammad Ali with with his head doing that. But
Yeah.
again, I don't know. Maybe he was just sick that day. I don't want to put anything out there, but somebody else told me back in New York that Larry is not doing well. But I
Wow.
don't know because like I say, I only saw that one video, but it was enough to convince me something was wrong because you know how Muhammad Ali walked with it with that shaking from the Parkinson's,
Yeah.
and Larry took a lot of punches. So,
Yeah. He did. He did.
but that left jab of his was amazing.
It was.
Um,
Was.
but you all were more defensive fighters. You're right than
Yeah.
they are now. They're
But
just
we
not
practiced.
exciting. They're
When
not
we
exciting.
practiced, Linda, we practiced for like 2.5 months. Guys with long arms and good jabs,
Yeah,
blocking jabs. And so that's why I was so relaxed when I fought him. I didn't care about his jab. I knew that where my hands supposed to be, and he barely hit me with the jab. And so I think he lost a lot of confidence because he couldn't control me with the jab. So I had a smart trainer, and our plan was to
yeah,
get rid of his jab and put pressure on him, and it worked out pretty good. But me being young, only had 13, 14 fights.
yeah,
That's the only way that he he got the upper hand on me.
Yeah. Oh, see, now this is the stuff that I'm interested in because I didn't know that. See, now I've learned some stuff. I can put that up on my
Yeah,
Facebook
but
page.
if you look at the fight, he barely hit me with the jab. I,
Yeah,
I
yeah. You
off.
were
Oh,
moving
that was
around.
one of the biggest robberies of the year, the biggest robberies in boxing. And someone even asked about that in the chat. I was going to wait till the end to ask that as a final question. But who did you think won that fight, Linda? Larry Holmes or Tim Witherspoon?
It was pretty close.
It was very close. That'd be a hard one for me to call.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty.
Especially with Tim sitting right next to you over there.
Well,
no,
you
I'm
know
being
what?
honest because
You know what I
I'd
say?
have to go back and review the fight. I mean, I've seen
What
millions of
Well,
fights.
we just had the anniversary of the 41st
I,
anniversary was last week, and Tim and I did a show on it. We reviewed it.
Ah,
yeah, but
no,
what I say now? When you young up and coming, they're not just going to give that fight to you. You got to do more than just win to take it from somebody that did all that hard work. You can't just do just enough. You got to do enough and a lot more for the judges to give you to you. So at that time, I did think just a little bit, but I needed to do just a little bit more.
maybe a little bit more. And you never know, the judges could have been paid off. Look what happened with the Weaver fight and Dokes. You
Okay,
know,
okay,
1 round, and it was stopped because Joey Curtis was scared after the Dooku Kim fight. And
okay.
so, but Weaver, if you watch, I can read lips sometimes. And if you watch, he was saying, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm okay. But Joey stopped it. He turned around.
That was terrible. That fight. Let me shout out to Emza who came in here, man, and get you before. Eric Rosas, salute to you, man. My brother William Old School Arnett, shout out to you, my man. I'm in here with boxing royalty, man, and
That's right.
it's information coming out of both of them. It's like I'm getting hit with a double water bomb over here. And I'm feeling,
I'm impressed. I'm
things.
really impressed.
I am
Woo!
loving this. I am just loving this. And it's so good to see you, Tim. I mean, after your hospital visit and everything,
Yeah,
thank God. I mean,
Oh, Tim
you
scared
look
us.
great.
yeah. I lost a lot of weight. You can see
I
it in
know. Yes. I can see because
my
your
face.
bones are sticking out here. Yeah.
I'm trying to bounce back.
That's my,
Got to
yeah.
And
get my
you
daughter.
know,
I'm not drinking or anything.
Yeah.
Sometime I might take a glass of wine in a couple of months, but other than that, I'm thinking about surviving because I love everybody. I love my kids, and I just want to make sure that my daughter. I got 5 daughters, but my kids. I
Yeah.
want to make sure that this young one is all right in a good situation, just in case something really serious. But I'm gonna do
Yeah.
because of that, and I want to be able to talk to you guys and
lo-
be able to be a part of the thing. So that was a calling, man. I almost didn't make it.
I know. It scared me when I saw the picture of you in the hospital. Oh my gosh.
You saw
lo-
me in the hospital?
Yes. You posted, or maybe your son posted a picture of you lying in the hospital, and you said, I have blood clots in my lungs. And I think it might have been your son because he said, pray for Tim Witherspoon.
Oh,
and and yeah, and that's how I found out about you. And it said, and then you said, you wrote me back, remember, or you
yeah,
called me and you said, yeah, I had blood clots in my lungs. We talked for about an hour, almost 2 hours.
yes, we
The
did.
doctor told him not to talk. He was talking 2 hours with me.
Yeah, hey, man. When I took a test about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I ignored it. So I took a test. The lady came by, the doctor came by, and I blew in this thing, and they told me that it was inconclusive. And that was a warning sign that I didn't know. So my breathing test wasn't accurate. So she said, you better go, you're gonna have to go to a doctor. But I never did. That was a
right.
close call. 2 months before this, there was a doctor that came here and let me know there was something wrong with my breathing. And now, oh man, I'm glad my daughter got me to that hospital.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had big blood clots in my lungs and in my left leg, and they took them out, man. I'm not messing around. I don't like
yeah.
medicine, but I'm going to the doctor 2 or 3 times a year, and I'm not gonna play around. I don't like medicine, guys. I don't like taking medicine. I haven't eaten beef or pork for 50 years, chicken and fish for 5. I try to just do herbs. But sometimes you just might have to need that strong medicine to get
Yeah.
you through.
Yeah.
I'm
But
not
you
playing
know,
around no more.
you're survived. There's so many fighters. I have a whole list of fighters that have passed away. You know, I can't
Well,
believe it. We didn't
well,
want
you
you
know,
to
Paul,
pass
Paul just
away.
let us know that Larry Holmes has diabetes. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has. He has it really badly. I learned that a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
Back in, I think it was 2013, he had some kind of an episode, and that's when they found out he has, and that's a dangerous type of diabetes too.
Wow.
Uh
That's
huh.
bad. Out of 10 siblings, I'm the only one don't have diabetes or high blood pressure.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been
No,
taking.
you just have blood clot in your lungs.
I know. I know. I've been
Well, you
taking.
know, I learned that a long time ago because I didn't have health insurance until around 2000. I went for a long time, you know, for long periods of time without it because I was self-employed. I just couldn't afford it.
Did you ever
But you
get
know,
sick?
well, a little bit, but not much. But the thing is, once you have it, they'll bounce you everywhere because the medical industry kind of controls the country right now. Big
Yeah.
pharma, the doctors, everything, the nurses, even Uber's connected with it. Uber gives people rides back and forth to the hospital. I mean, it's an economy within an economy. But you know, we're our own best physician, so we have to take care of ourselves. Go to the specialist that we deem important. Like Tim, you blew off that respiratory thing with the blood clots. You
Yeah,
know, we,
that was
we,
scary, man.
they're not going to do that for us. We have to be our own personal advisor to this. You know, these doctors are tools for us to use. We
You
have to
have to
have
be
a
your own advocate.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, you have to have that general physician. You have to have a dentist, a dermatologist, a heart specialist, a hematologist. You know, a blood doctor, a rheumatologist, everything that's important. But just
I
stay
want
on
to
top of it.
something
Get the
all
annual visit.
natural that can thin my blood. If
You
not,
better
then
be,
I'm gonna
you
keep on
get,
taking. I want to find out if there's something all natural that can keep my blood thin. But if not,
well,
I'm gonna keep on taking the pills.
well.
Well,
I
I
take
don't
a
know.
baby. I take a baby aspirin every day. That's a blood thinner. That
Okay.
and you can get that in natural form. You can take something called white willow bark, which is actually aspirin in
I got
herbal
this
form.
real tiny little like orange pill, like
That's
real
what I
tiny.
take. And it's supposed to stop blood clots and strokes because my mom had a stroke. So
Oh
it's like
God,
80, it's called Ecotrin. It's like a baby aspirin.
Janaya,
And
Yeah. It's a baby. Yeah, that's exactly
Janaya,
what it is.
what was the name of the blood thinner? Eloquist,
oh
Eloquist.
yeah,
Eloquent.
yeah.
It's in that. My brother
What
takes
is
that.
that? What is that?
It's a blood thinner. It makes sure you don't have clots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've been taking.
But
Yeah.
it's got a lot of side effects, so you got to make sure you don't get bruised. You know,
Wait, what you mean? Like what?
well, read it. Just Google it, and you can see all the side effects that it has. It's you know, it's a very popular medication. You see advertisements for it on
What
television
type
all the
of side effects?
time. You want me to go find out for you right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, how do you spell it? E
I
L
don't know.
O
You see
Q
that, Linda? We can't get away from nothing.
E S T.
Well, see, I take this Ecotrin and I've been taking it for years. And the only side effect is that, like, when I cut my finger, it bleeds for about 3 days.
Yeah,
You have
Serious.
to stop the bleeding, but it
Okay.
doesn't have any, and it's only 81 milligrams, but it has kept me, thank God, from getting a stroke like my mom had. But she didn't have her stroke till she was 91. And so I said to my doctor, well, what should I take? Because I took some kind of blood thinner, a statin, and it made me really sick. And so I
Okay.
just take Ecotrin one a
Yeah, I
day.
don't feel.
No, one 3 times a day. Three
Yeah, I
times a
don't
day.
feel anything after I take the pill.
No, that's good.
the
So
possible side effects.
okay,
Let's see,
Uh
man.
oh.
I
Eloquist
haven't
can
felt nothing
bleeding,
so
can be
far.
serious. It can cause bleeding, which can but may rarely lead to an early death. This is because Eliquis is a blood thinner medicine and reduces blood clotting. While taking Eliquis, you may bruise more easily, and it may take longer than usual for any bleeding to stop. Be sure to seek medical attention right away if you have signs or symptoms of bleeding, such as unexpected bleeding or bleeding that lasts a long time. You may have a higher risk of bleeding if you take blood thinners and take other medications that increase your risk of bleeding. Okay, and it's got a few of them in there, man. Yeah, you know, you just have to be your best physician.
I
You
don't
have
go
to.
nowhere. I don't go nowhere or anything. I'm going to start back training once the doctor give me the okay. And if they say I can't do no exhibition, I'm not going to do it. But I was ready to go. I was ready to whip
Yeah.
Jake Paul behind, Linda.
Yeah. Oh, you could do that in one round.
That's
One
right.
round's all it'll take.
You know, Mike Tyson had this. Well, Linda, what do you think of the exhibitions
Oh,
going on?
come on. You know,
One
Mike.
round.
Oh,
Yeah. There you go, Linda. See, all the boxing people know.
but do you think it's going to be a legit fight? Do you think it's more going to be like WWE?
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
the
I
other
think Mike
person?
wants to kill him because he has a big mouth. Mike is not thrilled, I don't think, with it with Jake Paul. So,
I think they
uh,
going back in the room and talking about it, and they taking.
yeah,
I think they going back in the room on the phone saying, "Hey, Mike, I think we
yeah,
need to do this. Think we need to do that," because Mike would go right at him if they
and
didn't
kill
have
him.
no conversations. If they didn't talk before the fight, Mike will go right at him and try to take his head off. So I think it's a planned thing like wrestling or something like that. And I guess the people that enjoy watching this type of stuff is going to get their kick out of it. Other than that, Mike will just get rid of him in like 30 seconds. I
Yeah,
think.
I think the same thing. They're fighting over in Dubai or somewhere, and the sheik offered him something like $900 million if he could knock Jake Paul out in 30
No,
seconds.
no. They're
Nope,
fighting in
nope.
Texas, AT&T
Huh?
Stadium.
In
They-
Texas? Well, I don't
yeah,
know. Some sheik offered him that for 900 million, and I thought,
I think it
that
was 50-30, Linda.
it was
50,
what?
50 million for Jake and 30 for Tyson.
No, but he said something. I don't know. I read that article and I said 900 million if he knocks him out. Well, of course, he's going to knock him out in one round. But I think you're right, Tim. He may be talking with Jake Paul and say, "Oh, let's give him a show," because people don't care about Jake Paul. They want to see Mike Tyson.
what do you
Just
think?
like
What do
the
you think of
Muhammad.
Saudis? What do you
Yeah,
think of the Saudis? What do you think of the Saudis taking over boxing right now? You know, they're
they are.
putting
They've got the money.
I'm gonna
What
tell
do you
you real
think, Tim?
quick one thing. Me and this brother from Pakistan, Azar Khan, we before all this stuff started, I was supposed to fly over there with him, and we were gonna try to convince a lot of the Sikhs and stuff that we could do that, but somebody beat us to it. I'm
Oh,
serious. We were gonna. He called me, said, "Tim, I want to take you over there so we could talk to these Sikhs and stuff." And try to get boxing started way before all this started. And I knew Azar. When I was in England, ever since I beat Frank Bruno, I was going back and forth. I got a son over there. My
uh,
daughter lives with me now, is from there. So we was gonna fly over there, but it never happened. And now you got those guys. They moved in and now they doing they getting their money and they doing real good with it. So we had a chance. I had a chance to be involved with that, and it never materialized.
oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, Azar Khan was his name. He's from Pakistan. A lot of people like him. A lot of people don't like the way he do business, but he was cool with me. He got me paid and everything.
Well, you know what I understand too? I was on a podcast yesterday or day before. I'm
Oh,
trying to remember.
you
They,
busy?
Yeah,
they all run
I
into each other.
I forgot his name already,
I
but
know.
he told me, see, he does mostly wrestling, and he said that I thought the wrestlers, it was all choreographed and
That
everything.
was Hannibal's. Yeah, I saw that show.
Yeah,
Uh, Hannibal.
Hannibal, and he said, "Oh no, Linda," he said, "those wrestlers work out, but they are not. It's not planned." See, I always thought it was all choreographed.
No,
It's
it's
not.
it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it's Korean. You know, it's a work. They'll wrestle each other in the ring, and they'll know who's going to win. One wrestler puts another wrestler over, and they
Oh,
make it
okay,
look
then I
really
was
good.
right.
Yeah,
Then I
you were
was,
right. You were right for sure.
yeah.
I was watching him, and he was kind of treating you like a little bit like a mark. He wanted you to believe it all. I thought it was terrible. You mentioned Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Andre blew you off like yesterday's garbage. He just kind of had no use for you. That big jerk. What did he do?
He was at the Showboat, and he was the Showboat used to have some wrestling matches there, and I decided to cover them because they're really fun. And he was registering, and I went over. I was a distance away from him, maybe 5 feet, and I had my Entertainment Tonight, you know, plaque on or necklace, whatever you call it. And I said, Andre, may I please have a photo? And he looked at me and he said, get away from me. And
Get away from
done.
me.
Yeah, yeah, go away from me. And I was stunned because none of the wrestlers ever treated me that way. And then Bobby Heenan, they said, hey, there's a girl in the corner. Stay out of that corner. Don't come out feet first. Well, that's all you had to tell Bobby Heenan. He came out feet first, hit me right in the face. My camera went here, cut my nose. Out I went backwards. And my parents were watching it on TV. So I was in the hospital. And when I got out, I went back to retrieve everything. And Bobby Heenan said, I am so sorry. I really didn't know you were there. He knew I was there, but he says, would you want to come have dinner with me? And I had heard he was a ladies' man. So I said, oh, no, my father's waiting outside for me. Or I gave him some excuse. I can't, it's too late, whatever. I didn't want to get in a room with him or, eat with him after I had this big mark across my nose. But, but
have you ever been injured at all? Like at ringside, ever had anybody bang into you with the camera anymore? Anything like that ever happen? Ever have ever had any camera smashed by anybody and things like that?
No, the funniest thing that happened was I was covering a boxing match in Miami, and people began to storm towards me, and I didn't know what was going on. Wow. And I put up my hands. I was scared. I didn't know if they were going to hit me. I didn't know what they were going to do. And they said, you're Linda Platt. And I said, yeah, I'm Linda Platt. And they were holding up the newspapers, the free newspapers you could get at the sports book where I worked. There was they called it a rag. It was a free newspaper that all the strip hotels had. And it was on the strip. And they had visited Vegas for some fights, and they took it as a souvenir. So I was signing autographs around the ring before the fight. But I mean, it scared me when these people started coming at me. And then another weird time, I was in Mexico. It was a Lupe Pintor fight. Lupe won the fight.
Lupe.
Lupe Pintor. And the ring collapsed. And I had long hair then, much longer than it is now. And somebody grabbed my hair to hold me from going into the hole in the middle of the ring. And I had all my camera equipment. Everything was saved, but all the other photographers lost everything in this big hole in the middle. It was Mexico City. And then several weeks later, they had that horrible earthquake. But I've been to Mexico. I've covered 2 fights in Mexico City. But mostly, I was everywhere. I was in Atlantic City, and it was right when it opened up, and I was on the boardwalk, and I think it was the Taj Mahal. It wasn't Trump's. It was the Taj Mahal. And we were sitting in front of this big, oval window, and all of a sudden this guy comes up in a raincoat. And I said, uh-oh. And I think you know what happened after that. And I could not stop laughing because I've never seen it. I've only seen it before in movies and comics and stuff. And this guy, the more we laughed, the more angry he got. Finally, somebody chased him away. So that was one of my fun experiences in Atlantic City.
Wow.
Nobody ever hurt me, though. None of the, aside from trying to take my seat now and then, I didn't really have a problem with press. Yeah.
Taking the seat.
Like the bathroom or... Pardon?
Salute the Crush. Another brother who came in here, man. Like I said, YouTube, we go bopping around. Everybody's doing boxing shows. Everybody's doing interviews. And man, if you can grab a dozen or so to come in and watch you.
How long were you on for, Bruce?
Whatever you guys want to do, man. I'm captivated by this conversation, and I'll stay here as long as you want to stay, Tim. As long as Linda wants to stay. Just tell me if it's getting too boring, because we can shut it right down.
No, it's not getting boring. My battery is low.
Oh,
stick it in a charger. Don't you have a portable charger or something? You can
Shania's
the charger.
There.
Get the charger.
See, I'm just going to plug mine I can plug it right into my computer. Even though I'm doing this on my cell phone.
Is there any way you can get that charger? There's no.
No, I can hear her.
So I'm going to have to move over here.
So move.
Yeah.
You know
Oh.
what? Bruce looks like Jake LaMotta. That's who he looks like,
Oh,
but a better looking Jake LaMotta.
Uh-oh.
hey, but I'm not a better fighter than Jake LaMotta.
No, no, he's a great fighter. Just a
He
bad
was.
person, but a wonderful fighter. Oh,
Oh,
the
I mean,
Raging Bull. There
the
you go. It
six
seems
fight.
like
Can
Tim's
you
moving over now.
imagine?
There you go.
Can you imagine 6 fights with a fighter today where the record stands at 1-5, and they were just great fights, every one of them, captivating with that legendary St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Whew.
Yeah, I think Sugar Ray Robinson was. I consider him the greatest of all times. A lot of people think um, uh, Mayweather is. Mayweather was great for his era, but he could not compete against. Oh, I would have liked to seen him fight Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns. You know, the fighters. I mean, he's a really generous man, believe it or not. He has a lot of money. He's very generous with his money. He took care of Roger. What happened to Tim? Tim disappeared into the night.
Tim's all here right now.
Ah,
Oh,
oh,
he
maybe
checked.
he'll come back on.
Yeah, oh, he'll come back.
Yeah,
He knows
but
the routine. But no,
but yeah, I mean, I don't care for the fighters today. I liked Floyd because he was colorful, but he reminded me with his running a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard. Leonard was great at getting away from fighters, but you know, he's colorful, and I think the best thing about Floyd Mayweather was he was the first billionaire sports figure in the world. The
yeah,
first.
any sport.
And yeah, any sport. And he is a shrewd businessman. He's the one that started this stuff with Conor McGregor and the MMH mixing with the boxers. And I mean, it was very. Oh, there he is,
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Tim.
disconnected. I disconnected the wire to the internet. Trying to
Yeah, what do
plug
you?
in.
We were just talking about Mayweather,
Okay.
Floyd Mayweather,
Which one?
Floyd.
Oh, Floyd.
Floyd
Oh,
Jr.
Floyd Jr.
I
Okay.
saw Floyd Sr. and Sugar Ray Leonard fight at the Providence Civic Center in 1978,
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that
really?
fight.
and it almost seems like you watch it now and you can see Floyd Jr. and Floyd Sr. the same style. I mean, Floyd
Ah,
Jr. is a little more polished, a lot faster, but you can see that same style where the shoulder roll coming forward, keeping the left hand low.
Well, they're athletic because they're not completing their style. They're not keeping their arms close to their body all the time. And I was taught that their defense. I was taught that by Slim and the guys from Philly. You know they call it the Philly shell. So, and it's not the Philly shell. What they're doing, I don't know what they're doing, but that's not the Philly shell. The Philly shell is a tight defense, and I learned that from the old guys in Philly. So somebody, somebody took that kind of style and said it was the Philly shell, but that's not the Philly shell. What you see Floyd and them doing. The Philly shell is just a tight defense where you keep your arms up here. Now all that other stuff, Slim showed me how to do it. They kind of like keep that style loose. You got to keep it tight. You got to keep it tight. So if you fighting somebody that you're taking advantage of, you can loosen up. But if you fighting somebody that's really strong, you got to keep that defense tight. And the way they slip, and there's a lot of different ways that their movement, that a lot of them not really doing it right. Even Floyd.
oh,
Yeah, I'm from Philly, and I was taught the Philly shell, not the Philly shell. I was taught that defense by my trainer, and you got to keep this your bottom hand. You can leave it out. You can leave that bottom hand out, but you got really is supposed to go across your stomach. And when body shots come, you lean in and catch them. But other than that, what was that? He put he must be drinking Thunderbird, but you can do a lot, Linda, with that defense, but a lot of guys are doing it and getting hurt because somebody is not fully teaching them defense that is. That's not the Philly shell. The Philly shell is just a tight defense with both hands across your these here knuckles across your temple, this against your body, and the other arm is the same way. It's tight like a shell. All this other stuff, that's not a shell. The shell is just a tight defense. Now everybody is talking about it and they giving out the wrong message. That's not the Philly shell, what you see all them doing. The Philly shell is just a tight defense with no movement. When a body shot comes, you just lean in and catch them. So that's the wrong information that they're giving out. That's not the Philly shell what Floyd's doing. It is a certain style, but it's not the Philly shell.
Oh.
The old timer told me that. The old timers told me that. The Philly shell is just a shell. It's a shell.
How do you think Floyd would have done against guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, and Hearns and Duran?
You know what? In my opinion, Floyd has to be in phenomenal shape in order for him to perform like that. And a boxer's supposed to be in phenomenal
he was
shape.
always in phenomenal shape.
Well, I'm just saying, Sugar Ray and Tommy Hearns, they were some strong bangers. You have to figure it out. I would go with the Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray. Look what Sugar Ray did to Floyd Sr.
And how about Duran?
Duran pretty tough. He's the man with the arm with the what do you got?
Duran came right out and said if he fought Floyd, he'd break his ribs.
Yeah, he could punch pretty good. So like those, to me, the boxers in that era, Sugar Ray, Duran, they were much harder and stronger punchers, and to me had more knowledge than these young guys. So the trainers that was around then, they're not here. And so these young guys are half doing the style. They're in bet to me in really good shape. Oh, my battery.
Exactly.
Linda, I got this picture off your Facebook page too.
Which one?
The one that's up on the screen right now.
I don't know who took that. I don't even recognize anybody on there. I don't have my glasses on, but
I was going to ask you because, like I said, it was on your Facebook page. And this one was
really?
too. This is Daniel Dubois. Did you take that one?
No, I haven't covered a boxing event actually since late 1989.
Okay.
I don't know who.
I got it.
But do you think like Mike Tyson, did he hold his hands up like you were talking about?
Well, Tyson kept his defense tight and he moved a lot. He moved quick and that took care of a lot of his defense. He was a fast mover. So he did keep his hands up tight, but there was a lot of boxers that didn't. And they're the ones that hit the canvas. Now look at these heavyweights nowadays. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Dylan White, Anthony Joshua. All of those guys hit the canvas. They lacked defense, but everybody was good at offense. And it's just something that I assess from
defense makes for a long career.
Huh?
Defense makes for a long career.
Well, I think you need both. You definitely need both of them. Some guys made it without,
we don't have.
They paid the price.
We don't have anybody with offense and defense today. That's what we need.
Nowadays they passed away. A lot of those trainers passed away, and guys in my eras, we got some of that. Some of them. So you get people on TV saying, "Yeah, Tim is very defensive." A lot, and I relaxed. I didn't rush. I didn't throw a lot of punches. I just took my time, slip, bing, like the old timers. Now you look at these guys, they throwing punches and they're not thinking about defense. Crawford, all offense. You don't see no defense. All those guys, all these young guys, and that's my opinion. I'm looking at them saying, "Wow, I don't see no." They're in really good shape though. Like I'm saying before.
How about a guy like Aaron Pryor?
Aaron Pryor moved a lot. He can't he passed away, and I'm sorry to hear that. But Aaron Pryor moved a lot. He got hit a lot, and when his career was over, he couldn't talk really that good or function. Um, and just from me knowing, from learning and stuff like that, Aaron Pryor moved a lot, but he did get hit a lot. At the end of his career, he really couldn't communicate. Tommy Hearns, the same thing. Good offense, and I love them all. I love him. I love him. I love everybody. Good offense, but look at him now because he got
Yeah.
hit a lot. He got hit a lot.
Tommy, yeah, I've heard Tommy's not doing too well.
Yeah, he got hit a lot. Sugar Ray Leonard didn't get hit a lot. He did use his defense. You don't see a lot of damage there, but you just look at some of those guys. Look at me. I think I did get hit a couple of times, but I don't know why. I be forgetting a lot. I don't know what that's from. I be getting hit a lot, but I'm not criticizing
I'm bad.
nobody or anything like that. But by me
Yeah.
knowing about defense and offense, I'm just saying that that's what happened to a lot of these boxers.
Yeah.
They can't. Iron Barkley, tough as
Yeah.
nails, banging. He got hit a lot. You could tell now when his career's over. Now look at me. I'm not that bad, but I had a good defense. This
Yeah.
is some of the results. The
Yeah.
results of me practicing on defense. So find the guys out there that's not really communicating that good or something like that. Look at their fights, and you'll probably say, "Wow, he didn't really have a good defense. He was offense." So that's what I'm going. That's what I'm learning, Bruce and Linda. That I'm glad I had a trainer that taught me defense and offense. I was relaxed when I got in the ring. I didn't throw a lot of punches. I had a good defense, and you set everything up. You set everything up.
Yeah. Well, so the one is suffering now too is Benitez. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
in terrible shape. And Mauricio sent a van for $10,000 so they could take him back and forth. He's really in bad shape. But
You're
he's
right, Linda.
55. He's still alive,
Yeah.
Yep.
but he can't
Yeah,
talk, he can't
and
walk.
he has nothing too. He lives
No.
on a government on basically government welfare because he didn't build up his Social Security, and
Yeah.
it's so sad. It
He
would be
had
so.
good movement, but he got hit a lot. Everybody, he got hit.
But
Well, they called him El Radar.
he needs 24-hour care. His mother,
Yeah.
who takes care of him, had to quit her job to take care of him. I don't know if it's his mother or his sister, but I mean, it's such a sad story. So many fighters that happens to, and
Yeah. And he's one of the worst. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
no,
Finish, Bruce.
possibly fighters aren't the fighters of the '80s because maybe they see the fighters of the '80s what they turned out to, and they don't want to be like that. They're afraid to get in the wars. They're afraid to fight as often and be as active. But we, the fans, we're paying for that. See, I'm old school. I want to see the Joe Frazier's in the ring. I want to see the
Yeah.
Tim Withers.
Joe kept his hands up.
Yeah.
Ali just moved a lot, and he was kind of developed a style where he didn't get hit that much, but eventually he did get hit with a couple of hard shots. He started getting hit as he got older. So he did need a defense when he got older. But when he was young, he floated like a butterfly, sting like a bee. But as his career developed and he got older, he got hit a lot, and you can see the results from that. So I'm only speculating by me knowing about defense and knowing my peers in boxing and who got hit and who didn't get hit and who can survive, who can communicate more these days. And like I was saying, Iron Barkley, I love him to death. I love all the boxers, but he got hit a
Yeah.
lot. He got hit a lot. I don't know, Linda, if the last time you seen him,
No, I had
whatever,
heard
but yeah,
he's not doing well.
yeah,
He's not doing well. I had talked with Matt Farrago. Remember he had Ring 10, and
yeah.
he has really bad CTE now. I hate when they call it boxing
Who,
dementia.
Matt or
Matt, oh yes,
yeah?
Matt's living with his brother and
Wow.
sister-in-law, and I don't think Ring 10 is around anymore. It used to be such a great That's when I hadn't seen you. Remember in 2019, and you were a guest
Yeah,
there, and I said to Matt, "Well, it's just not the. It can't just be this." He said, "Linda, it's the sparring too." He said, "You forget that these fighters start as amateurs. Some of them are Olympic champions, and all of that." I said, "But they're wearing headgear," and he said, "The headgear just protects from bruises and cuts." And so he said, every time he said the damage starts, and I think it was Customato who said that the damage starts as soon as you step in to start sparring.
yeah,
It stays with you, and so that's what caused a lot of it too. And I thought you all were protected with the headgear, but you're not. You're only protected from cuts and bruises. I had no idea until Matt told me that.
yeah. That's why I
Because
teach defense just as much as offense.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you want to be able to leave this game communicating. And look, I got hit hard several times, about 5 or 6 times, but I always kept my hands up, and I blocked a lot more punches than I got hit. I'm telling you.
Well,
I,
you
I
sound great. Thank God
yep.
you sound great, you know?
Yeah, and I was in some battles too,
Yeah,
and and even in the gym. I made sure I didn't get hit. I don't care how lazy I look. I kept my hands up.
yeah,
And a lot of times, you guys, a lot of times I wasn't really ready for my fight because I knew I was getting ripped off. I knew that the business wasn't right, and that messed my career too. I wanted people to really see the real Tim Witherspoon, but every time I was fighting, I was always thinking about my money. I was always thinking about, and I really didn't get in good shape a lot of the fights. Imagine me in top shape like Tyson and Holyfield with the knowledge that my trainer gave me. So I think I would have did a whole lot better. But I look back and say, man, I made it through. I love everybody, and I didn't even have to make it this far. How did I become two-time heavyweight champ? I'm still doing
yeah.
like this. I'm still scratching my head. You know,
Well, well,
wow.
you had this freaking hammer that was attached to your shoulder that put people to sleep. And not to mention you dazzle them with brilliant defense,
You
so
know,
they
and I'm
don't know if
happy
they're
to
going
meet
to
you
get up
guys.
blind.
I'm happy to meet you guys. Happy I'm here with Linda, she old time friend, and I'm just blessed. All this stuff that's
Yeah,
happening, hey man, I'm just thankful. I got a
yeah,
beautiful family. My mom always was behind our kids. I got 10 siblings. I was raised with 8. They're all really nice brothers and sisters. We all really good and stuff. And so I think that is enough to make me happy for the rest of my life. And I got friends like you guys, and there's no need for me to be out there acting like an asshole, acting crazy. I love everybody. I don't have no time for bull. I got
I
kids to
agree.
raise.
That's smart. I think that's
Yeah.
smart, Tim. You have a great family, you know. Mike Weaver has, you know, his daughter is I thought she was a model, but she's a nurse. He has a wonderful family. I don't think he's going to step back in the ring either. And I don't think Pink is either. You
Well,
know,
what's the matter with Pink?
no, nothing's wrong with him. That's why I said I don't think he's going to step back in the ring at all. Just like you, he has no reason to go back in and do a
I
an
was just going to do
exhibition.
exhibition because they're paying good and it helped me get out this hole I'm
I
in.
don't know. It's not worth
I
your health.
I keep my defense up. I
Hey,
keep my D up.
the advice that you have, Tim, the advice you could give to some of these fighters is invaluable.
Yeah,
That's what they're missing out on right there. I mean, we know what you do in your prime. We know what you would do today, and I think a lot of these fighters would they don't want to do a Tim Witherspoon, but that knowledge that you have that you could give some of these fighters, man, to extend their careers.
A lot of them don't know defense. I'm telling you. Just look
I
at them.
see it,
A
man. You
lot of
see
them
it.
don't know defense. Everybody's throwing all offense. Those good trainers, they passed away. And I'm like, where am I going to see somebody that's real relaxed instead of throwing a whole lot of punches, instead of really showing the art of boxing? Relax, deliver punch, block punch, then knock the guy out. Slip, boom, you knocked him out instead of rushing all the time.
well,
I'm,
what do you think of Freddie Roach as a trainer?
Listen. I'm gonna speak up on Freddie Roach. The last time I made a statement about him, I loved the brother. He didn't really like what I said. Um, he was damaged. When he boxed, he got hit a lot. I
Yeah,
think that people felt sorry for him and put him in the corner. Um, he got hit a lot in his fights. And I just was telling my view, he could say whatever he want to say. I told him, I said, look, man, I love Freddie Roach, but he got hit a lot. I think a lot of people felt sorry for him and put him in the corner. If you watch his fights, he got hit a lot. He got hit a lot and everything. So if I had a kid that wanted to box, I wouldn't authorize him to go with Freddie Roach. But Freddie got mad at me. I went to shake his hands and he turned away from me. And I
oh,
felt kind of bad. But Freddie, I don't know, they felt sorry for him, I think. Put him in the corner. Do you watch his fights? He got hit a lot. He
oh,
got
I
hit
was
a
at a
lot.
lot of his fights. Yeah,
He got
yeah.
Oh,
hit a lot.
he was a
And
better
and
trainer than a fighter.
huh?
Better trainer than a fighter. No doubt about it.
Well,
I
I
mean,
don't know if you could do that. I don't
but
know if
look
you
what
could
he
do
did with
that.
Pacquiao. If Pacquiao, he led
No,
him into
Pacquiao. Listen, Linda, I'm sorry to say this.
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao made him.
Okay,
Pacquiao made him. He didn't.
okay.
The way Pacquiao fought and got in there like a warrior, build Freddie Roach back up. You know, Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas is a great trainer and stuff like that. How many fights did he have? I love him and Freddie Roach. They can say what they want to say about me. Negative, I'm gonna say, hey man, thank you, man. I'll try to do better. But what I'm saying, Teddy Atlas? How many fights did he have? Or
I
Freddie Roach was fighting,
Yeah,
but he
Freddie
got
Roach
hit a
had
lot.
quite a few fights. Yeah.
They can say what they want to say about me. I still love him.
No, I was
I'm not
just
going to get
wondering what you
mad at
thought.
him.
Yeah, because I see. I've always thought he was a great trainer because of Pacquiao, and Roger trained Floyd, and Roger ended up with all kinds of brain damage, but he did a better job, I think, than Floyd Senior. Because see, there was a fight between Floyd Jr. and Floyd Sr. or some kind of
Yeah,
disagreement. So Raj took over, and I thought Roger did very well with Floyd. Um, but again, see, I didn't see a lot of the fights because I wasn't covering then. It was just what I was reading, you know.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Roger, he had diabetes, and towards the
Wow,
end, he was in terrible shape. He went blind. And
wow,
I have a friend who does boxing photography now. She came after me, Marianne Owen is very good. And Marianne used to take boxing lessons with Roger. And she went up to him one day. He didn't know who she was. And then he went blind from the diabetes. And I think Floyd took care of him. Floyd paid for the funeral and everything.
wow.
And but Roger at the end just was really CTE really badly. And I had no idea. But
So,
I know
Tim,
that Chavez did a job on him when he
so,
fought
Tim,
so,
Chavez.
Tim,
so,
Tim,
so
MZ just made a statement here for you. He said, Tim, but Slim Jim Robinson wasn't a great fighter, but he became a great trainer.
he was a great fighter too. He was a good
Was,
fighter. Slim
was
was a
he a good
great
fighter?
fighter. Yeah, he made
Okay.
Wright Rossman, the Jewish bomber, made him a champ. He was whipping. Here it is, a Jewish kid in the gym whipping everybody behind. Whipping everybody behind. I mean, opinions are made to respect. I respect what he just said, but Slim knew his stuff, and he was a good fighter. He was a good boxer, also. I hate to talk about Freddie Roach and everything, but Manny Pacquiao, and his skills really boosted Freddie Roach up. I mean,
Oh
that's
no,
who
that's good to know. I appreciate that because I didn't cover any of the fights, but Freddie, led him to 17 title bouts, but just could have been partially pure talent on Pacquiao's. You know.
Yeah,
Linda,
I
did you?
think I think that Pacquiao definitely revived Freddie Roach's name,
Ah,
and by him winning, Pacquiao was winning before Roach came. So who the promoter that had him was he had him first, and they stole him Pacquiao from oh my God, the promoter.
Top rank?
No, it was the Muslim promoter from Newark, New Jersey,
Mirad
Murad.
Muhammad?
Murad.
Rob,
He was with Murad, and Top Ranking them stole them from. This is what I heard. Stole them from Murad, the promoter, who I fought for like 3 or 4 times, and that's how Freddie Roach uh, winded up with Manny Pacquiao. So
Oh,
these are just some of the things that I was heard. I'm friends with all of them. And like I would like to be Freddie Roach's friend, but I'm not going to take. I wouldn't take my son or anybody to him to be his trainer. I'm just saying it right out. You can say what you want to say about me. I'm gonna say, well, thank you. I respect that, but I'm not going to take nobody to him to train. So it may be sound harsh and everything. He's crippled. I feel bad about that, but um, Pacquiao brought him back to life. Where is he at now? Who does he have now?
I don't think he has anyone, but he's not in really good shape from what I've been told. I don't
Yeah,
know. I haven't seen him recently, and I called the gym to say hello several times, and some woman named Maria wouldn't put me on. So I don't know how Freddie is. I just wanted to talk with him because he used to train at Toko's all the
yeah.
time.
He's a really nice guy, and
Yeah.
he's a really nice guy. But like I said, I'm not going to take any of my boxers to him. Even back then, because I watched a lot of his videos, and I said, well, he gets hit a lot. So I guess a lot of people felt sorry for him. They wanted to boost him and everything like that. He could say what he wanted to say about me. I'm just going to have to respect it and say, well, thank you, Freddie. That's nice
Yeah.
of you or whatever. But the bottom line is that I wouldn't to me looking at his videos, watching his fights, I wouldn't take nobody to train him. And there's people out there might not like what I'm saying, but they can say what they want to say about me. I'm gonna have to respect that. Say what you want to say.
No, I love your honesty because see, I haven't followed Freddie much, but I had just seen him, with with Pacquiao, and Pacquiao had some kind of an exhibition today or something
Oh,
at
today?
45 or 4. Oh yeah, he did something. I saw it before we went on the air. He's 46 or something, and I don't know what he was doing, but I think
Okay.
he got beaten. I don't know. It wasn't really exciting. Um, but I
I
was
know there's a
surprised
lot of
he was
people
still.
upset, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of people upset, but I just don't see it. I don't see it.
yeah,
Watch his fights. Watch what as House did he won the title? Did he win the title, or did he get hit a lot or whatever this
yeah.
and that?
I don't know because I didn't watch it. See, everything too. When you were fighting, everything was on local TV. I worked
Yeah,
for NBC, ABC, CBS doing, a boxing. I would send them a photo and they would turn it into an advertisement. And every week there was a fight. Every weekend there was a title bout. Everything was free. I watched Muhammad Ali with what was his name again? Cooper, I think. The,
Cooper.
the guy that was all bloody. And it was all free. That's why boxing isn't as popular as it was before. Because
Costs a lot
you
of
look,
money
I
to.
can turn on the TV tonight and find an MMH thing, and I'm not an
Oh
MMH
wow.
fan, but the everything is expensive. We used to have a sports. We have sports bars here, and I'd go up for $20, get a pizza, get a Coke, and watch a fight. And then I went up one day and they said, "Oh, we're not showing the fights anymore. They're not making us any. They're not making money because they had to pay for some of the fights."
Right.
So, and I figured, well, I'm not going to spend $60 on a fight that might go one round, and I'm not really covering it much anymore. So I'm not as interested. The '80s was my era, the last great era of prize fighting.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I mean, you guys were amazing. You defended your title a bunch of times. All of the fighters did. Mike Tyson said it on one of his podcasts. He said, I fought 7 times in one year defending my title. Now these guys, look at Tyson Fury. I think it took him 2 years. Andy Ruiz, I don't think he ever defended his title. I think they took it away from him. And Usyk, I like Usyk because he's like an old school fighter. I
Yeah, I
like
like
him.
I like I like him. He's a
I
lot
like
of
him a
movement.
lot, and he's
Yeah.
he's great with his people. People love him, but the fighters today just aren't that exciting. And I'm not going to pay 150 a month for cable TV and then have to pay extra to watch a boxing match. It's just not the same. I really loved Vegas with the, the newcomers would work out at the Silver Slipper, and they
Yeah,
would have their fight. I think Boom Boom had one of his first fights there, Boom Boom Mancini, and
Mhm.
because I
yeah,
remember
boom,
the name.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and they were just wonderful fights, and um, it was old school. Johnny Tucko's gym was old school. The Golden Gloves gym there was old school, even though it was a newer gym. It was built, I think, in '83, but they tore it down. But it had character. At Gleason's gym in New York, the Miami gym. I went
Yeah, I
to
was
the
up there a
Olympic.
couple of times in Gleason. I
Yes,
was I
yeah, and
was
the
training up
Forum.
there.
Yeah, and so I've been all over the place, and I was spoiled. Excuse me, I was spoiled by the '80s. So the fights today just don't excite me. Everybody's a champion, a 12-0, and they're champion. You
Yeah.
know, how many fights did you have, Tim, before you got a title?
Well,
Oh,
I
Tim,
fought Larry Holmes at 14
14 fight.
fights. I was only I'm gonna be brief with speaking. I only had 7 amateur fights.
Yeah,
I started in '79, and I'm fighting Larry Holmes 1983, 4 years later.
Whoa.
So yeah, I had a good trainer. That's why I'm kind of
yeah,
hard on, and I feel bad saying these things about these certain people training people, but um, I had confidence in my trainer. He taught me defense and offense. He showed me how to. My straight right wasn't hard, so that's how come the overhand right was developed, because I couldn't throw the hard straight one, and we wasn't lifting weights, and we wasn't doing that sports medicine stuff. So
yeah,
imagine if I was doing all that.
yeah,
So yeah, I had a real good trainer. Slim was
yeah. What was his name? Slim what? What was
Slim
his
Jim Robinson. Remember
Slim?
Mike Rossman, the Jewish bomber?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
beat Victor Glenn. He was training Mike Rossman. He taught Mike all the
Oh,
stuff that Mike know.
oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, and he trained a couple of other people. When we was in Ali's camp, I was a sparring partner. They were asking Slim, because Boudini and all of them didn't really know nothing. They were asking Slim before Ali fought Holmes. They were asking Slim for help. Not that they were
oh,
scared. Muhammad would do his own thing anyway, but there was little things that they was asking Slim. I was a sparring partner, so I was like, they gave him a lot of respect. They gave him a
uh,
lot of respect. So I said, "Whoa, Ali is kind of listening to some of the things that Slim was saying." But
oh,
Boudini and all the other guys really didn't know nothing. Now the Cuban dude, Serrera, he was the only one that really knew, boxing. That was in Ali's corner. But
yeah.
Boudini didn't. Boudini didn't, and the other guy
Are you talking
didn't.
about Bundini Brown?
Yeah, Boudini
Oh,
Brown.
yeah,
He didn't really know. He was a motivator, and Ali
yeah.
really didn't listen to him. And but that their Cuban dude, Ali really didn't listen to none of them. But they was asking Slim certain things, and I was right there as a sparring partner. But you know what,
Uh,
guys? Ali was sick. He was sick from the beginning to the end. He should have never fought the fight. I never had a hard sparring session with him. From the beginning to the end, he was weak, and they were kind of worried about him being weak and everything. And we knew when Holmes threw the first punch, Ali wasn't going to win. But we knew a couple of days before that
yeah,
he was sick. He had thyroid and all that. So I guess they was pushing him so they can get money. But he should have never fought Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes got robbed out of his championship stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, he got robbed.
yeah. That was one of the fights I attended. It was hard to
You
watch.
remember, Linda? Remember?
Yes, yeah, I do. And people had said that Ollie wasn't right. That may be when the Parkinson's actually began to kick in.
Yes.
But and then the same thing happened with Larry. Larry fought Tyson. That was a terrible mismatch.
Were
Wow.
you, were
And
you, were you at ringside for that fight, Linda?
no, I was ringside. I was 5 rows back, of course. It was at Caesar's Palace. I was sitting with the high rollers at the Holmes
Uh-oh.
Ali fight.
Uh,
But for
Shania,
Tyson Holmes,
come get
no.
this thing on the floor.
that was
Never mind, dear.
that was a sad, sad fight.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I, I
I get
saw
it.
I saw it in a closed circuit theater,
It's a little
and you could hear a pin drop when you were leaving. It was
now you talking about Holmes Tyson?
I'm sorry, I'm talking about Holmes Ali.
Oh,
Holmes
it's horrible.
Tyson.
Yeah, that was a shame. That
It's
was a
horrible.
shame.
Well,
You know,
He
I
was
have,
sick.
it's amazing. Holmes looked so bad in that fight, but yet he came to comeback. Beat Ray
yeah.
Mercer, came within an inch of winning the heavyweight title twice. And
Tough man. Larry Holmes, a tough dude.
Well,
tough
you know
dude for
why
sure.
people attended it? Because I asked, there were people sitting in front of me, the high rollers. They had paid $1,500 a seat. Now, back in 1980, $1,500 was probably like 5 or 6,000.
Crazy.
And I said to him, "Why? What is it?" He said, "We just wanted to see Ali fight." That's what they said. The husband and wife were thrilled. They weren't happy with the ending, of course, but they got to go home and say, "We saw Muhammad Ali," knowing it was going to be his last fight. And
Him and
they,
Holmes. Him and Holmes.
yeah,
Yeah, he was sick.
yeah.
He was really sick.
Well,
But
not
yeah,
only was he
he
sick,
took that. He
he
took
had
that
CTE.
after that too, which was even
Oh, the
sadder.
Burbick fight. Yeah.
The
Who took the
Bahamas
Burbick fight?
Ali.
With the spray.
He did.
Yeah. His last fight wasn't Larry Holmes. He came back and fought Trevor Burbick.
I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Trevor must have beat the daylights out of
He
him.
did, and I'll tell you something else on that fight. When Mike Tyson fought Larry Holmes, he said to Ali, "I'm gonna." No, I'm sorry. When Mike Tyson fought Trevor Burbick for the
Yeah.
title the first time, Ali was in the ring, and Mike Tyson said to Ali, "I'm gonna get him for you."
Yeah.
No, it was the Holmes fight. It was the
No,
No,
Holmes
it
fight.
was the Holmes fight.
are you sure it wasn't the
Yeah,
Burbick
that
fight?
was the Holmes
No,
fight.
it was the
Burbick
Holmes
Cause see,
fight.
I thought I got Holmes back for Ali because I was Ali's sparring partner. But see, Tyson's name was bigger than mine, and that's what made it look like because he knocked Holmes out. But I
Uh,
beat Holmes, and they didn't give
Well,
it to me. So I thought because Ali flew places with me, Indonesia, he was like supporting me. When I was his sparring partner, but Tyson was a bigger name, so now he got the thing where he did it instead of me doing it. Got revenge. That's
yeah, he
nothing.
wanted that. He wanted revenge
Get
badly
him.
because
well,
he loved Muhammad Ali.
I think if you look, I think he said the same thing to Ali in the ring. Said the same thing because Ali got that vicious beating at the end of his career. Real
Yeah,
sad,
yeah.
real sad. But man, hey, the Boxing Menu podcast. Thanks for stopping in here, bro. Well, Linda, I had you here for over 2 hours now, man. I think I'm
Okay.
gonna close
I
it
could
down.
talk another hour. It's so good seeing Timmy. It's so
Yep.
good meeting you,
We're
Well,
gonna
Bruce.
do
well,
it again, Linda.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna do it
yeah.
again, okay?
How about
Let,
tomorrow?
Hey,
let's let's refreshen up. We'll do it again next week. I'm gonna catch the fights this weekend. And we can get together for sure, man, for sure. Great
Okay.
having you, Linda. And Terrible Tim, my brother. Always a pleasure having you, man. I can always
Okay.
count on Tim to come in,
Thank
man.
you.
So, hey,
Love you, Linda. Thank
I
you.
love you too.
Okay.
thank,
Okay.
thank you
Thank
all so
you.
much. All right, man.
Okay.
All right.
We're
Keep in
on.
Bye.
touch.
Bye, everybody.
Good
Okay.
night.
See you.
Thank you.